All right, guys, just for a few minutes while we're waiting for the bus, just to give a little bit of continuation based on what we spoke about already. Just before we go into the actual Kruger and we discuss Perek Shira and Yonim, just a little bit another, I guess, kind of introduction into what we're doing. Rav Avigdor Miller writes, in the Sefer Lev Avigdor, he writes, the examples of the wondrous ways of the Rabbeinu Shalom is so incredible that he gives each creature their strategy that they know and they're intrinsically born with in order to survive the wild, which is an amazing thing, because you've got a very, very wild place with things all over the place, and yet every animal knows how to survive. Each one, says Rav Avigdor Miller, is enough to bring a person to the question that Avraham Avinu himself asked. He says, how can this world not have had an architect? The more a person studies, the closer he becomes to his creator. That's the point of the trip, that's the point of what we are doing. The Pasuk in Iyov says in Perek Lamed Gimel, Pasuk Yud Aleph, we quoted it before, Malfeinu mabehemo yisoretz, we have to learn from the beasts of the earth. They were created, as we explained the last time for Rav Avigdor Miller, for us to be able to learn about the ways of Hashem, and their function is exactly that. Their function serves that idea, is for us to be able to look and see as a living testimony of the creator of the world and allow us to become aware of the Rabbeinu Shalom through them. There's a Gemara in Rosh Hashanah Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph. The Gemara tells us, which Rashi brings down, when a person sees different types of birds, he praises the creator for making them. And there are so many different types of birds. Why did the Rabbeinu Shalom create so many different types of varieties of animals, different types of birds, different types of fish? So Rashi opens us our eyes in Rosh Hashanah over there, Lamed Aleph, that the Rabbeinu Shalom did it simply for us to become aware of him. That is, the more variety there is in the world, there is more found appreciation that can constantly be seen, helping us having a fresh appreciation every single day. This idea that Rashi brings down in Rosh Hashanah is actually the discussion of a perek in Tehillim that we say the Shir Shel Yom on Thursday, which is, the Gemara tells us that the reason that we specifically say the Shir Shel Yom, Pei Aleph, on Thursday is specifically because it's said on the 5th day of the week, because the birds and the fish were created on that day of the week. As Rashi explains, it's the variety found within these aspects of creation that should catapult a person with immense shira, with immense song of saying, Harninu lelokeinu, sing to our God. Now, intelligence and free will, Bechira, as we know, is only given to man. No other being, no other living being has the power to decide on his own free will, and with his own intellect, have the ability to praise Hashem. Only we have the ability to recognize the godless of the Rabbeinu Shalom's creations, and by studying them and understanding them and going be'in into the sugya of them, the more we do that, the more we can actually appreciate the Rabbeinu Shalom's creations on the world. And Sifsei Chaim, Reb Chaim Friedlander, explains that the song that Klal Yisrael sang after Kriyas Yamsov was an expression of gratitude and bewilderment over the nisim and the flies that the Rabbeinu Shalom performed, that they recognized were above Teva, they were above nature. However, says Reb Chaim Friedlander Zatzal, there was a song that preceded this one, and it began on the very first day of creation and continues to be sung up until this day. And that is the song of Teva, which is singing the praises of the creator of the Rabbeinu Shalom day and night. As David HaMelech said in Tehillim Perek Yotes, Pasuk Gimel, Yom la yom yabia oime, v'layla la yechavadas. Day after day it expresses the speech, and night after night it shares the knowledge. The world and everything within it is constantly singing a chorus of uninterrupted song and praise, and that's the music of the world. But who's listening? Who's opening up his eyes to allow himself to be inspired by the song, by the beauty? The creations produce the music, but it's us who has to hear that music and express the words. One of the greatest and most powerful moving aspects of the creation is actually the song of the birds. The person wakes up in the morning, as we've done here a few times, you heard the birds, it's beautiful. It's something so profound to hear the chirping of the birds, and it tugs deeply at the soul, at the heart. Why did the Rabban Shem create such a thing? It's in his Sefer Bayis U'Menucha, Reb Moshe Aaron Stern Zatzal quotes Reb Avram, the son of the Vilna Gaon, that says that the chirping of the birds was created to satisfy the neshama, the soul, and bring simcha, joy, to the hearts of people. Every morning, when you wake up and you hear the chirps of the birds, be inspired by the Rabbeinu Shalom's everlasting kindness. He created these sounds specifically to inspire, to bring us joy in our hearts, and we have to thank the Rabbeinu Shalom for that. We'll end with one other thing. In the Sefer Torah Lemelech from Rav Pam Zatzal, he quotes the Zohar Kodesh, where the Zohar and Parshas Emor brings an amazing discussion between the Amoraim. And the Amoraim explain that when the Pasuk says that the Rabbeinu Shalom looked at the world he created and said, Toiv ma'od, it was very, very good. He included even, and this is the Zohar Kodesh, he included even the flies and all of other things around in the world. Everything in the world, the greatest, biggest, largest creature to the smallest, tiniest thing, even if we consider it maybe a nuisance and something annoying, are all Toiv Ma'od. As I state in the Zohar Kodesh, Rav Pam brings it as well. And therefore we have to understand something is only Toiv, it's only good, if it brings people to an awareness of their Creator, to the Rabbeinu Shalom. Maybe that's what the Zohar is telling us. The Zohar is telling us how we have to look at even the smallest thing that looks to us like a little bit of a nuisance. What do we need this for? It's annoying. But even that, the Rabbeinu Shalom said, is Toiv Ma'od, because it allows us to be able to look into the creations of the world and be able to thank and look at the godless of the Rabbeinu Shalom. We'll continue with Hashem in a little bit.